Good morning, everyone. Hopefully everyone's doing well on a Thursday morning. We've made it.
Coming through okay?
Oh, was there a question there? All right, we're going to get started here. This is the weekly preferred vendor call. So as these calls always get very interesting, lots of questions coming up, which is great from the vendor community. If you guys have any questions whatsoever about what you have today, or maybe you're bringing some questions or to the call, feel free to interrupt at any time and ask those questions. You can do so by hitting *6 on your phone to unmute yourself. You are all muted as you join the call. Or you can use the Q&A function in the bottom right-hand corner of your WebEx screen. So a couple ways to ask those questions, but we're going to go ahead and jump into it because I want to leave plenty of time. Was there a question out there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Jason, can you hear me?
Yes. Kurt, did you have a question?
Jason, I don't think he can hear us.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. All right, Kurt, we can hear you. I don't think you can hear us. So we're going to go ahead and continue down the path here. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to just let us know. Showcase organization, again, I always like bringing this up at the beginning because we want to make sure, or at least I want to make sure that you guys have a place to go to of who to reach out to. Vendor registration, the big thing to call out is just that email there, that annual showcase at awginc.com.
Can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you.
All right, so annual showcase at awginc.com. That's the main email address for the showcase. So that's a great place to go to if you don't know where to go to, or hey, who can answer my question? That is the place to go, and we'll make sure that gets routed to the correct people to get you an answer as soon as possible. And then everything else on the screen: Center Store, Compete Magazine, Culinary Stage. All this is in flight today. We're deep into this. So if you have any questions around the Culinary Stage, Center Store, Fresh Initiative, sales and services, so hopefully you've already made contact with those folks and you've already got dialogue going on. One thing to call out, we'll talk about a little bit later, is the food side of it. Jenny's running with that. And we're going to talk about the sampling side a little bit later on, along with the mobile app. Any questions around the mobile app, feel free to reach out to myself and we'll make sure you're all whole there. Learning Lounge educational workshops. Again, that first top one, logos need to be uploaded to your Box account. I was looking yesterday and there were it was scarce. We'll put it that way. I need your logos. If you haven't done that already, and we're going to address this a little bit later on, talking about Box a little bit, but logos have got to be uploaded and we'll tell you why here in a little bit. But Learning Lounge educational workshops, those confirmations have been sent out. So if you have a session, one of these sessions, you're well informed and there's some bio information that needs to come back, and that was all due on the 18th. So Kate, do you want to add any color to the Learning Lounge educational workshops?
Only thing I'll add is that those of you who have had final presentations or that have been notified that you will have a presentation, we'll be having a call with all the presenters in the middle of February. So we'll make sure you know about that to get any questions, answered or anything like that. So we'll be in touch more for the education workshops and learning lounges.
All right, thank you, Kate.
So if you were involved in that, did you get an email or how was communication sent?
Yeah, you got an email to the email address that whoever registered provided as their contact information.
Okay.
Good questions. Again, Learning Labs, this is really part of that email that went out. And I just want to make sure to address it just so everyone is on the same page. So when you show up for the Learning Lounge, you're prepared. So each presenter, again, bring your own computer with the presentation loaded on there. We'll use your computer in these sessions. There'll be a tech there on Monday from noon to about 1:45 to really test those connections to make sure things work. We'll also have a tech ready and available during the presentations or right before the presentations. So that if there's any issues there, we can address those fairly quickly. All the rooms are going to be equipped with a stage screen, AV hookups, audio video hookups, clickers, microphones. You've got two options on the microphones. You've got an over-the-ear microphone along with the handheld. So plenty of options there. And then an AWG host will meet you there prior to your workshop or learning lounge, really to do introductions. So they're that person, that AWG representative will be really introducing you to the group based upon the bio that you're submitting. So make sure those bios are good. One thing I wanted to talk about was the box accounts. I had a few questions come in this week via email, really talking about box accounts and do I have access? Do I not have access? So those emails went out a while back during registration, and you would have got an email from Box. So check your spam folder, because I've many times, and I've done this many years, it's like they just go into spam for whatever reason. So check your spam box. If you don't have anything there as regards to a box account, reach out to Annual Showcase at awginc.com. Let us know that it's not there, and then we can work with you on that. And the logo is pretty important. And I've kind of mentioned that before. We're going to have a sponsor board at the show. So we're going to have, that board is going to have logos on there. It's also going to be used inside the app, and it's also going to be used on the website. So it's going to be used all over the place, but if we don't have your logo, it's kind of hard to get it on there. So, and the one question I always get is, well, we've uploaded it in previous years. Do I have to re-upload it again for this year? The answer to that is yes. Logos change from time to time. They get refreshed, they get rebranded. So we want to make sure that your logo is right, because that is your image for your organization. So there's no screw ups there. So make sure you upload your logo to Box there.
Jason, one question on that. Should that just be one logo, or can we upload multiple?
Upload the logo that you want to use for the showcase.
Okay.
Culinary stage, any updates? Michael or David, are you guys on the line for some updates on the culinary stage?
Yeah, I'm on the call. We finalized the schedule. We're only missing just from one supplier presentation description, but we finalized the schedule. We've got marketing materials submitted to Tara for the stage. We've already communicated with all presenters on their time slot, basically equipment, and what will be needed. For the stage, I got a few questions about it. I'm going to send some pictures out after this call, and so you'll see a few pictures from last year. Unfortunately, it's from the audience view, and it's not from behind the stage. But there is an 8-foot stainless steel table, a 6-foot stainless steel table, and roughly probably I'd say 8x8 walking space behind that table. But I'll send some pictures out after the call to the culinary stage presenters, so they'll see that. But so far we're rolling along good. Everybody's got just about all their information in, and so we should be good.
All right, thank you, David. Showcase layout. Again, lots of questions came in about this one. We are working, we got the first draft back from the convention center this week. So there are some modifications that need to be done. So this is kind of where the back and forth go with the convention center as far as nailing things down from that side of it. If all things go to plan accordingly this week and the beginning of next week at our February 2nd meeting, we'll be able to give you some insight of that show floor layout and what it's going to look like. So just next week should be a great meeting to really start talking about that showcase floor. And then my note down below, showcase vendors designated for meeting space, the Diamond, the Platinum folks, you guys have a meeting space, and really we're asking that question, do you need this space? We've had this at previous shows, and they just didn't get utilized like we thought they would. So really we're putting the question out there, do you need this space? Wendy, do you want to add anything to that? Wendy must not be on. So if you are a Diamond or Platinum, just
Sorry,
send an
Jason, if she's trying to talk, I think she's on mute.
Oh, okay. Right, I'm not hearing Wendy.
She's coming over to my office. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. So So really the only thing we need, if you guys can just email Jason and I, whether or not you guys are interested in the space so that we can update that layout accordingly on the first floor if you guys don't need that space. Unlike previous years, we've worked to schedule meetings for you guys with the retailers. We will not be doing that this year. So just let us know one way or another if you want that space. And based on participation, we'll make the decision as to whether or not we're going to do something different with that area.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Wendy. Next up, all the exhibitor forms. So there's a lot of links on this page. The first one up there is really just a recap of everything that is down below here. But each one of those blue lines is a link. So if you need the Overland Park Convention Center exhibitor packet, there's one there. There's complimentary furniture form that needs to be filled out. So if you want a wastebasket, a table and chair in your room, you got to request those. Even though it's part of your sponsorship, you still have to request that. Sample request forms and requirement. Again, if you need any product from the EWG warehouse, that's the form to go to. And any special order vendors or special orders. So that's product be in the Kansas City warehouse that'll be shipped over to the convention center. So if you have any of those requests, those are the forms to go to. And if you want more detail or color around that, there is this form at the top. That's kind of the main form. And it just kind of explains each one of these forms in a little bit more detail. And again, with those same links that are out there today. So lots of good information there.
Hey, Jason, you said you were going to email last week. You were going to email this out so we had this with the links.
Yes.
Did you email that out?
I did. So everyone on the calendar invite would have received an email from me with a link to this. It is also on the calendar invite itself. There's a link to that also. But I can send this out again. As long as you're on my calendar invite, you're going to get an email.
Okay, I don't think I'm on the calendar invite because I'm not getting any of those communications.
Okay, type in your email in the Q&A section. If you're on, are you online or are you on the phone?
Yes, I'm online.
Yeah, just go ahead and send me your email through the chat, through the Q&A button, and I'll make sure you get on there.
Hey, Jason, so this slide looks different from last week's slide, which just had vendor exhibitor forms, so you could just click the link to get to all these others. Now that you're highlighting all these others, has anything changed from last week, what we downloaded?
No, it's the same thing. I just changed it
Okay.
up to link to the specific document on each one of those lines. I had a lot of confusion last week going into just the box account as far as which one was. So just to
Okay, thanks.
clean it up. All right, you bet.
Jason, the furnishing form asks for your booth number. Should we be waiting to submit that until we have a booth number or leave that blank?
Yes, yeah, please wait on that one till you have booth number. Again, next week, hopefully we can give you some insight into that side of it all.
Hey, Jason, this is Doug from IGA, and I just wanted to ask about shipping, pop-up signs and things of that nature to the booth. Is there a form here or dates listed somewhere where those shipments have to arrive and the address for that?
Wendy, can you take that one?
We do not have that information yet from Fern with their service package. They're still finalizing that. We have a call with them today to get that information finalized. So we should be able to share that tentatively with you on the 2/2 call.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, any other questions around this area? Good question, guys. All right, I'm going to move on. Showcase equipment. Again, this is just a reminder. Each vendor out there, you need to secure your own cases. And we're working with internal teams to identify any spare equipment that we may have, but we just can't guarantee it. So hopefully you're working with your folks internally about what equipment needs. Sampling rules. Jenny, are you on today? Jenny may not be on, but I wanted to provide some sampling rules today from Jenny. Wendy, do you have any insight on that?
we just wanted to express kind of an overall good tidiness, sanitary sampling processes, right? Wear gloves, make sure that we're not utilizing the same serving spoon over and over. But unlike the prior years where we've had COVID restrictions, we don't have those. We're just hoping that everyone's using, good sanitary processes, gloves, clean tongs, those kind of things. We will have some additional information that we can drop into this sheet moving forward. So when you utilize the link later on today or tomorrow, there will be some additional information here.
All right, thanks, Wendy. Graphic design request, again, February 17th is coming up. If there's anything you need AWG to do some printing for you for the showcase, we'll do that and have it at the showcase for you. There's a request form. The deadline's coming up soon, so that's on February 17th. That's the cutoff date. Otherwise, you get into the final rush and all that stuff, some additional fees and all that good stuff. So we don't want to even go there. So February 17th is the date. And then if you haven't done so already, download the app. Go ahead and get that on your phone. That way you don't have to think about it. We'll have some additional training on the app coming up on a upcoming call. On this call, and really kind of go through contact exchange, how that's going to work through the app. It's the same username and password as the website to get into the app itself. But feel free to use those QR codes up there to download, whether you're on an Android or an iPhone. But go ahead and get it to your phone, and that way it's there. And plus, there's a lot of information there. And as I talk about that information, the showcase website has all the same information as the app does. So it's just a nice way to get the information. Looking for show schedule, travel information, hotel, speakers, workshop, learning lounge. Those are coming a little bit later. But we're going to post all this stuff to the website whenever we're done and things are finalized. So there's a lot of good information on the site today. If you haven't checked it out, do so, because there's just a lot of good information, especially around the schedule itself for the show. Under the schedule tab there, we've already posted that out there to show you what the show schedule is. Now, all those times that everyone's been referencing to as far as setup, when do I need to be there? When's my setup time? We're going to answer all those questions a little bit later as we nail things down with the convention center. So again, check that site out. FAQs, same thing every week. We're updating these every week, so you have a chance to click on that blue button over there and just get a Word document of questions that have been coming in. And then timeline, next steps, January 27th. So that's tomorrow. So that's kind of our date to finalize Learning Lounge, workshop, culinary stage, and get that posted. So our goal is next week on the 2nd to actually get this stuff posted out to the website so everyone can see it, especially you guys, the vendors, and along with the members, so they can start planning what their showcase is going to look like and who to bring for that matter.
Hey, Jason.
February 3rd. Whoop, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot to mention earlier, there's a few of you that have not turned in your final Learning Lounge descriptions. Those were due 2 weeks ago. And at this point, if we don't have them by tomorrow, we have people ready and waiting to take some of those slots. So if you are one of those sections that hasn't turned in your final, it's time to be final so that we can get them out there. So just a heads up for those of you out there that may be waiting a little bit. We're going to give away spots here once we don't have information by tomorrow. So thanks.
All right. Thank you, Kate. February 3rd, all sponsorship collateral. So again, that's all your logos and anything that you want out there inside your box account. We've got to get that out there. That's very critically important at that point. February 17th, all those design requests, that's anything you need AWG to print for you for the show. And then March 8th, Learning Lounge workshops. That's when your final presentation is due in PDF format to us. That just gives us a chance to review things, make sure things are kosher with what's going to be presented inside the Learning Lounge and workshops. And then March 20th, we're going to open. So we're all going to meet at the showcase and have some fun with our members. Other than that, I think that's all I have. Again, I'm calling out that showcase information, awgshows.com. Check that out. That's good stuff there. And then that email address, annualshowcase@awg.com. Very, very important. If you don't know where to go, that's the number one place to go to. So that's the end of the presentation today. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I wanted to leave enough time at the end for questions from you guys. really about anything we talked today, or if there's a topic you want to talk about, not in today's presentation, feel free to bring it up.
And when will we have more information about setup? When we're able to enter to set up?
So we're working with the convention center now, and that kind of goes in part with show floor design. So those conversations are going on at the same time. So I would assume, and Wendy, hold me truthful here, that we probably have some kind of idea sometime after the 2nd on that, unless it's going to come down with the show floor design. Any insight, Wendy?
Yes, that's the date that we're shooting for, is 2/2, to at least have some tentative movements.
All right, perfect. 2/2 is the date. So next week, make sure you're here on a Thursday. Let me check some questions out here. I went into the Box account and our logo is there. Great. If it's there, there's nothing you need to do there. You don't need to resubmit. Just as long as I have your logo there, life will be good on this side. Can you advise on bringing food in for samples and the procedures and the additional information that you sent out? So we're going to have some more details around that food sampling area, as we kind of talked about earlier. We'll have some more details around that for you. In fact, we'll probably have it to the presentation deck by the end of the week. What is the app for? Is it used during the show? Absolutely, it's used during the show. All of our members will be on their phones looking at the app. It's just a nice way to get show schedules. There's a feature in there that we'll review called the contact exchange. That's how you exchange contact information between the vendor and the member. And it's a nice reporting tool that you can get back on there and say, hey, who did I speak to at the showcase? And then maybe there's some follow-up that happens afterwards. So there's a nice feature there. We're going to get into that whole app side of things a little bit later as we get closer to the show. Just don't want to do it too soon because I want you guys to remember when you get to the show how that all works. But we'll review it a couple times there.
And Jason, can you talk a little bit about the after show type of events, like on Monday the 20th? You know, we're all setting up and we have to be set up by 3 o'clock, but then it looks like the cocktails and the dinner and all that type of stuff for sponsors that are part of that. Do you have any more details about that in terms of logistics? I've got people flying in and I just want to make sure I'm directing them the right way.
Sure. Wendy, can you take that one?
So first, let me apologize. I'm leaning over David's desk because I can't get my computer unmuted. The show schedule is currently posted out on the AG website. We are requesting that the booths be ready to go by 3 p.m. on Monday. We have happy hours scheduled. I believe cocktails to start at 5 p.m. and then dinner with our keynote speaker is 5:45. So after the show floor is finished up, we request that everybody change into dinner attire and then meet us out in the pre-function areas for cocktails.
Okay, and yeah, and then basically Tuesday, the Dinner and Excellence Awards, we do not attend that as vendors. I'm trying to remember back a couple of years ago. So
vendors, based on your sponsorship, are invited to both dinners, Monday and Tuesday night. Monday night obviously is our keynote. That's the bigger dinner that we consider that the bigger dinner of the two. And then Tuesday is the Dinner and Excellence Awards. But our vendor partners are invited to both of those dinners.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Is there a dress code for the dinners? I know you said dinner attire, but suits, sport coats, any guidance?
Business casual is what we've requested in the past, and we'll include that as well as we move forward. There'll be an additional sheet that's going to come out that is kind of included in that schedule that we'll share with you guys. But yeah, business casual is what we're requesting for dinners.
Thank you.
Actually, during the whole show, actually.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
If we sent questions into that email address, the Innovation Showcase, the first one on your information slide, when would we get, how long does it take to get a response back with those questions? I sent an email last week. I don't think I've heard anything yet.
Brian, this is Wendy. Yours was, I was waiting on some additional feedback from Center Store before I replied to your email. So
Okay.
you are in a draft, and I spoke with them about the information I needed. So I'll get a response back to you, but, under normal circumstances, we're checking that all day, every day.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm just feeling a little bit behind.
Hey, Wendy, this is Dina. For perishable samples, will there be a truck like last year on the dock where we can access?
Yes, so same process. Well, yes, there will be a truck. We're still finalizing that. But in addition, we still have those concession spaces in the back of the convention center. Those are first come, first serve, and those are also not monitored by AWG staff. So you are you're welcome to use those as they are available.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good question, guys. Anything else out there? Diane, it looks like you're getting an upload error when trying to log into Box or upload to Box. Reach out to me, Diane. I can help you out with that. All right. Any other questions? I think I hit everything here. I got everyone's email addresses that didn't get things, so I'll add you guys to the distribution list there.
Thank you.
But any other questions before we end today, guys? All right, very good. Everyone have a great Thursday afternoon, and we'll see you next week. See you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.